Today at Mustang Project, we're going to talk a little bit about restoring front parking lights. Here we have a front parking light from a 1967 Pontiac GTO. Now, you would think it'd be a very simple process, just replace the lamp with one of our fabulous new LED lamps. But on an old car that's had a lamp installed for over 40 years, it can be a bit of a problem. First, if we remove this lamp, we notice a couple of things. The lamp doesn't really want to come out. If we push in on it to release it, it doesn't really move much. Finally, we can get it out with some effort. Right now, inside the lamp, we notice there's a lot of rust, and we notice rust around the contacts. Even if we clean that out, we find the following. What happens is that we insert a new lamp, like this LED lamp, and we find that it just won't twist in, no matter how hard you turn. Well, these lamps' sockets are designed with two functioning, moving parts. First of all, there's the spring-loaded contacts, but the spring-loaded contacts depend on the wire moving in and out through this shielded portion in the back. So what happens with these very, very old cars, 40 years old, is that this rubber piece will petrify over the existing wire. Now, the old lamps will work okay. They will fit in. You notice you won't feel very much springiness, maybe just a little bit when you press it in, but not really a nice spring pop back. In fact, a properly functioning socket should spring the lamp out almost at you when you release it. This just kind of sits in there. And it works because this lamp has been in the socket so long that the little pins are deformed. They're deformed such that the frozen spring, the frozen wires in the back, and the little contacts are all exactly aligned, same dimension. Taking this housing and we've cleaned it up. Obviously, we've cleaned up the reflector, and people with the Scotch-Brite and some fresh work. We've also used penetrating oil to make sure the springs inside are completely free and they can move. But we had to do more than that. We had to make sure, using penetrating oil, that these wires move freely in and out of the rubber boot. If I pull on this, you will see that it moves. That amount of spring, which is about 1/4 of an inch, is absolutely critical. If those lead wires don't move that much, then when you put a new lamp in the socket, it won't twist in. Very simple. We soaked this with penetrating oil for several hours, and then we actually cut tiny slits along the rubber bushings on the outside, being careful not to cut into the wire. This freed the petrified wire. So here's our high power lamp, which is the XP lamp. It's ideal for this particular housing because it's very powerful, and this is a very small reflector, and you need as much light as possible to come out of this so you can be seen on the road. But you notice that once it's in there, there's actually springiness. I can push on the bulb, and that contact and those wires are springing back and forth. As I said, when you remove a lamp from a socket that's working properly, it almost jumps out in your hands. You see it's fit in just fine. And because of the penetrating oil and the fact that we freed up these wires to move properly in and out of the boot like they're designed to, we can even remove this lamp with just 2 fingers. Press, twist, and it'll just almost pop right out. Now, this particular lamp has a large bushing on the inside to mount the socket. But our lamps have a special shoulder design so that we clear those types of bushings. This particular lamp has an extra long shoulder, so it quite easily fits on even the biggest bushing protrusion. So you see that springiness come in and out. There we go. So even with, you can see that the lamp fits fine. Because of the long shoulder, it fits well above the bushing and won't interfere with it. Here is the lamp on with our high intensity lamp. This is more or less our extremely bright lamp. We have an XP even brighter lamp. I'll show you one thing. It's very bright. This particular reflector is really small. You get a lot of light out of it. On some of the old GTOs, they actually use this little shield to cover up the lamp. Problem with that is that covers up about half the lamp, so you'll lose some light because of that. We like to take those out because we think they're better without them on. However, just to show you, notice how the lamp springs right out, pops right into my hands. That's because we freed these wires in the boots. Now, our XP lamp, which is this lamp, 50 watts of rated power. Now, of course, the lamp doesn't dissipate 50 watts because we don't run it at that intensity, but the lamps themselves are rated at 50 watts. Incredible amount of light. Just incredible. Now, and this particular lamp is perfect for this GTO housing, especially if you take off this shield, because so much light comes right out of the sides. Shield, however, it still works really well. Still a very bright light. Very nice. So if you want the original look, use the shield. If you want the maximum brightness, go without the shield. Well, that summarizes it. This is a very common problem. In one of our other videos, we show you how to replace the contacts that are in here, which also solves the problem of the petrified boots. But if you're going for absolutely original look, what you have to do is use penetrating oil and then cut small slits in the side of each of these boot bushings and ensure that your housing will spring back and forth at least 1/4 of an inch. See how that springs? I can release and spring. That's the only way lamps will reliably fit inside of this socket.